Hey, Miles. I'm catching up on... Yikes.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to talk about some other mobile games, and actually some other games in general that I've been playing lately since the Marvel Future Fight update dropped, and we were met with, disappointment and outrage due to the crafting system and the CTP Reforged system, which then snowballed into the boycott. Now, this game is actually one that I was recently sponsored to show you guys, and I did a short ad in a video last week about it. It's A3 Still Alive. It's actually also made by Netmarble, as you'll see the sort of common theme in a lot of the games that I play. But I actually haven't made any content on this channel for it. I've streamed it a couple of times, and it's a gorgeous game graphically. And I just want to sort of run through the game a little bit, not necessarily talking about the game specifically, but more so talking about things that I find, and I realize that now a lot of the mobile games that I play all have these same common themes in common, right? They all share these common themes, and I think what it does is it sort of points me in the direction of the next game that I'm going to play, because Marvel Future Fight might not be, well, no mobile game is going to be around forever, but also sometimes you get tired of games, sometimes you want something fresh, sometimes you want to try something new, and so narrowing the options down. For example, I know I'm not going to do an FPS game. I'm just not going to do a game like Free Fire, Garena Free Fire, or Fortnite or whatever it is, even if it's mobile, because I just don't like those kinds of games. It's just not my cup of tea. Turn-based games, on the other hand, I might have said a year ago or 2 years ago that they weren't my cup of tea. Turns out I was a bit wrong about that. We'll get into that later. But one thing that I found that sort of happens to land on for all these games is they look really good. And not only do they look good, but they don't really have cartoony graphics. I think that is one thing that separates a lot of the games that I play, and maybe the same for you, maybe not be. But the cartoony graphics of maybe some other mobile games, even like really popular ones like Clash of Clans or Clash Royale, they just don't really do it for me. I really prefer games like this where the graphics look more realistic, and even in a game where it can be kind of cartoony with something like 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, because it's based on an anime, it still looks realistic in a lot of the ways, and the character proportions and the character models and things like that. They don't deviate too far from what we come to expect them to look like. By the way, that's exactly why I'm playing this game. Did you just see that attack? That's the Diablo 2 Barbarian spin to win. Check this out. I'll try to find some gear or some effect to make that spinning last longer or make the cooldown shorter, but I found out that there's a character in this game. There's 5 classes, but this right here, give me that all day long. So yeah, really excited with that. I'm really happy to play that. So yeah, really good graphics, and also graphics that are more realistic. Okay, can you not beam me in the face, please? Those are two things that I do look for in games. Another thing that I find myself gravitating towards in games that are not Marvel Future Fight, or games that I'm playing instead of Marvel Future Fight, is games that have a heavy emphasis on PvP. And it's pretty funny because MFF is completely opposite, right? They've gone years and they've had very few updates surrounding PvP, and they've done very little to improve the PvP environment of the game. Do I hope that Marvel Future Fight gets better PvP in the future? Of course I do. That's the ideal situation is that Marvel Future Fight is the best, most fun game that I can play, because it's the one that I love the most and the ones that I've spent the most time, 5+ years playing. But it's not. So I have to get that PvP fix somewhere else. In a game like this, you not only have PvP zones, so I have to be careful when I'm traveling around, because some of the zones that I walk into could end up being PvP zones. Like, let's say this Instigator camp or this ice cliff could be a PvP zone. And what that means is if I run into other players in a PvP zone, they can attack me. So there's monsters like these ice yetis or whatever, but there's also players that could attack me and start killing me. Let me just drop my here we go, my soul linker here. Boom. Oh, I think she missed. I don't know what she did. Anyways, we'll throw on some autoplay and I'll continue talking. So yeah, the PvP aspect of this game is pretty robust, and it's got a whole thing, battle royale, team battle royale, which reminds you a lot of FPS games, but it's got a heavy emphasis on PvP, which is something that I find I miss from the other game that I play, MFF, which is why I end up gravitating towards something like this. And then in addition to that, voice acting. You heard it a little bit with my soul linker, but this game has pretty amazing voice acting, and voice acting is actually something that I've wanted in Marvel Future Fight for a long time. I made a video suggesting voice acting years ago. I don't think it's ever going to come to the game. It's probably a huge time investment and a huge money investment, like a huge investment to make for a game that's already 5+ years old. I feel like if a game does not come with voice acting in the first 6 months, if it doesn't come with voice acting, and if they don't add voice acting in the first 6 months, it's probably never going to happen unless it's a big budget PC game and it's meant to last for, you know, decades, and they can just add that in later. For mobile games, I think, you know, if it doesn't come, basically if it doesn't come shipped with the game right away, it's probably never going to happen. And so I'm looking forward to the future mobile games, especially future Marvel mobile games. I really hope, like, I don't think Realm of Champions has much voice acting. I think it has a little bit, but I really hope like Future Revolution and stuff like that is heavier on that emphasis and has more of that cinematic feel, because it really draws me into the game so much more than I ever would have thought. And it seems so simple, voice acting, right? It's like, that's not part of the gameplay, but it enhances the gameplay so much, and it makes the game so much less boring to watch, even when it's on auto, right? Because all mobile games have autoplay, but when there's voice acting, when there's really good sound effects and this sort of thing and sound mixing, it's fun to just sit back and watch the game for 5-10 minutes at a time, or to sort of watch it while you're doing something else. Another game that I find myself playing more and more these days is 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, and I've been actually playing this game since it came out in March, so it's been almost a year now, so I've already dedicated a bunch to it. But on top of playing it a lot, I felt that I've gotten so much out of the game that I've actually spent a lot of money on this game. Now, this game can be enjoyed free to play, and I actually think it's an extremely generous game, despite the fact that you can end up spending a ton of money on it. It's definitely a more expensive game to play than Marvel Future Fight if you want to collect them all, which is a good comparison, I think, because it really highlights one of the key and one of the most unique features of Marvel Future Fight, is that unlike almost any other mobile game, especially one with an IP as big as Marvel and as well known, there's no other game that has 200+ characters that you can collect without spending thousands of dollars. That might sound crazy to you, but it's true, right? Any other game that you want to collect every single character, Contest of Champions, Grand Cross, Fate Grand Order, Genshin Impact, any other game, you want one copy of every single character? Good luck, buddy. Fork over your wallet. You're going to ignite that thing and it's going to burn up. That's really just the truth. And this game is no different. If you want to collect every single character, which is something I kind of want to do, I am a bit of a digital collector, you have to pony up a ton of money, right? Now, unlike Marvel Future Fight, though, it's extremely rewarding, and this is one of the things that frustrates me the most about comparing the two games, is that comparison right there. In Marvel Future Fight, it's very cheap to collect all the characters, but the game is so cheap. The game doesn't give you any resources. The game makes you scrimp and save constantly for every little piece that you have. I can farm more gold in this game than you can in Marvel Future Fight in less time. And I mean, there's no VIP system, there's no co-op game mode, like there's so much less that this game has, and yet it gives so much more. And not only does it give so much more, but the game is less than a year old. How can a game that just came out already be more generous to its player base than a game that's 5 years old? It just doesn't make any sense, right? The older a game gets, the more generous it should get. You'd think so, right? Right. And yet here we are, where this game has multiple exchange shops. You know, almost every week there's a new exchange shop where you exchange for items and gifts and things like that. You can exchange for limited time cosmetics. This game also has one of those things that I love, that we kind of wish Marvel Future Fight would have, which is you can play with the character in the way that you want. I'll give you a character actually from King of Fighters, for example, Kyo. Right? You can play with him and he has his regular skills, but you can make him look however you want. So this is something that we've been asking for in Marvel Future Fight for ages, right? I want to play with Captain America. I want him to be the newest, strongest version of himself, but I want to be able to customize what he looks like, right? I want him to look like this Captain America or that Captain America. I want to make him look like he's Captain America from Civil War, or I want him to have the beard. I want him to be Infinity War Captain America. You can change, right? You have multiple different options. Characters have usually at least 15 different options, if you count each of the 3 pieces as a different option for the gloves, head, and the body. And some characters who are more popular end up having an insane number of cosmetics. They're called cosmetics in this game. So for example, this character here, look at this, has like 20 different outfits, just the outfit, that you can customize by then further changing the headpiece and changing the sort of glove or the weapon. And then you also have the opportunity with pieces like this, you can put the helmet on or take the helmet off. So I'm gonna have to fix that one because there was a special effect, but you can take the helmet off or put it on. So there's actually so many layers of customization. So in a lot of ways, the game does have similarities to Marvel Future Fight, but then in a lot of ways, it also has things that are completely opposite. So in this game, you know, I have to spend a lot more to collect all the characters, but I also feel much more rewarded. And I've actually preferred that. Obviously, if you don't have a big budget, that's not the case for you. And if you don't like this sort of this story and this environment and this lore, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, if you don't like Seven Deadly Sins, if you don't like the anime, you didn't read the manga, whatever, then it doesn't appeal to you, right? You only like Marvel. I get that. No, trust me, I totally get that. But on the flip side, if you like being rewarded for playing, even if you're free to play, oh baby, this game has it all. Last but not least, I've been playing, like I told you guys in the previous video, PS5 games. So I just grabbed the PS5, and I could not be happier with one of their launch titles, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales. This game is somehow more fun, more beautiful, and more unique than the previous Spider-Man game that took everybody by storm about 2 years ago. And I actually made a series on that, covering that game. I was going to make a video on this channel comparing Spider-Man Miles Morales to the original Peter Parker Spider-Man game that this is sort of based on. So let me know if you guys want to see a full breakdown of sort of the comparison between the two. Maybe sort of like a pros and cons video of which game might be better in one case or another. Not to say that both games aren't good, but I do think that each game has its own strengths that it relies on to sort of draw you in and keep you playing. But I think they're both amazing games in their own right. Just a lot of people are wondering if they can only get one of them, play one of them, which one should they play, or if they have both, which one should they play first. Now, I do believe that the Spider-Man game, the original Marvel Spider-Man, would be cheaper now since it's 2 years old. It should be cheaper. I haven't checked out the prices, but it should be cheaper. And then secondly, okay, Pete, I'm talking about you. The Bugle, that's right. Got to get a new job here. I think the Miles Morales game, the Ultimate Edition, which is obviously more expensive than the regular one, does come with the new Spider-Man game. But I did want to talk about both because I do think that there are some pretty solid differences that make the games maybe better for one audience versus another. But I've just had a blast play this game. It's completely different. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with mobile games at all. It's a game that you buy once and you play once. And with that comes its own list of pros and cons. You know, this game, I beat it in about 10 hours or less. That's it. Now, if you play a mobile game for an hour a day, that means you only play it for 10 days, right? So if you compare it in that sense, how many mobile games have you picked up for maybe 45 minutes, and then after 2 weeks, you uninstall them? Probably at least a dozen or 2 dozen, right? So if you put it into that perspective, or if you try to evaluate the game from the standpoint of just how much time you spend on it, then this game might not really seem worth it. And that's sort of why a lot of people do play mobile games and they go back to them, because you get that, although it is more repetitive, or it can be repetitive, you get the ability to play every single day. And it has some variety every single day, right? It's not that repetitive for months, even years in the case of us and Marvel Future Fight and other games like that. So anywho, I wanted to show you guys a little bit. I wanted to show off a little bit of the swing in this game. I wanted you guys to see how it looks, you know, graphic wise, and I want you to appreciate the classic Miles Morales outfit. And then I just wanted to give you guys an update on what I've been playing and why I've been playing these games, because I think it's important. You know, we have a lot of time on our hands. Some of us more now than ever with you know, work from home and stuff like that. But the games that we choose to play, why are we playing them, right? What is it about the game? What itch is that game really scratching for you? And you know, also then to figure out what game could be scratching that itch next. And then also, if that current game you're playing maybe isn't really satisfying you anymore, why that is. So hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.